Welcome back. I know it's been a while. We've been busy, but we're here. I want to give an instant reaction to the Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn fight. I want to start off by saying this was a great fight. Chris Eubank defeats Conor Benn by unanimous decision. Eubank improves to 35-3. Conor Benn 23-1. The one loss, obviously, to Chris Eubank Jr. This fight, for me, and here's the thing. I'm American. I have no dogs in the race. It's just to me, I just wanted to watch a good boxing fight. This lived up to it. This was a really good boxing fight. It kind of, at first, it was a little bit, how do you say? You could tell they both were a little rusty, a little feel-out process, even though Conor Benn came out swinging. The man was trying to take Chris Eubank's head off. And I understand it's a lot of bad blood, a lot of hype, a lot of build up on it. But as the fight progressed and everybody kind of settled in, you could see Chris Eubank's experience and size really started playing a part into the fight. With Eubank, he really started jabbing up Conor really well. I thought in the early rounds, Conor came out really aggressive, was really flinging that overhand right and left. Taking his steps back, trying to get in there. But you could see little by little, and I had noted it down, that Eubank, his size and his jab was starting to touch up Conor. Conor wasn't using the most head movement. He was using good body movement and everything. But you could see as the fight was going to go on that Eubank was eventually going to start catching him. And around, I would say about round 4 or 5 is when Eubank started putting his combos together, really started touching up Conor. But once you start getting past that a little bit, Conor Benn was hitting him with the heavier shots. He was stumbling Eubank a little bit. While you were watching the fight, you could tell Eubank's legs really weren't fully under him like they used to, the way he used to move around when he had Roy Jones as his head trainer. But going forward, though, in the fight, at about I would say around 7-8, that's when they both kind of just slowed down to some degree. And that's when they both just started laying on the ropes, or they would just meet in the center and just start swinging. And to me, it was really entertaining watching that. I think the fight was scored, I believe, 116-112 across all judges for the most part. And if you're watching the fight towards the end, Conor Benn, he wasn't as busy on the inside as Chris Eubank from what I was watching. Eubank would put him on the ropes, and then Ben would kind of be hooking him with the one arm and trying to, scrap him on the inside a little bit. But Eubank, once he got that arm free a little bit, he started letting off just combos and just touching him up, just really not anything overtly damaging until we get to about, I believe it was like the 10th or 11th round. He did hurt Conor Benn towards the end, but I also think that was also a fatigue thing as well because of how fast Conor was starting. And if you really look at it, Eubank just stayed busier, was working them. That experience that you gain over all those fights, 35 in comparison to 23, also fighting top opposition, you really saw that come through towards the end where Eubank was just gutting it out, just barely gutting it out towards the end with all the infighting and everything. I think if Conor Benn would have been able to do a little bit more pivoting off the ropes and kept it in the center a little bit more, I think he could have nicked it or even had a draw or a win on this. But it's one of those things where Conor Benn's been out of the ring for, I think he even mentioned it, about 40 months. So it's one thing to be out of the ring for 40 months. It's another thing, you're fighting a larger man. It's a big, you could do it all in sparring, but in real life when you're getting hit, completely different. So I think Conor Benn, it was a really good showing from Conor Benn, really good showing from Eubank. It was really good, just a really good fight. I would like to see the rematch, but if there's no rematch and they just go on their ways, I would like to see Conor come back down where he's fighting guys closer to his size. Because Conor Benn, he looked like he was only about 5'6", 5'7" in there. Not a big dude, whereas Eubank looked like he was about 6 foot, 6'1". I'll have to look up his height, but there was a clear difference, a weight class difference in there. So overall, really good fight. British fans were entertained. I was entertained here in America, and can't wait to see which either one of them does next, either the rematch or go their separate ways, but we'll find out. Thank you for listening.